Welcome to our final episode of our 5-part video series, Why It Matters with Allie. Thanks to you for sticking around for the last several weeks as we dive into a very important and fun, exciting initiative. Again, I'm Allie Clifton. As I've said every episode leading up to now, please feel free to click on our pinned IG post. I introduce myself, as well as give you a little background as to why we've been here and why we will be here for one more week. I mentioned episode 1. As a reminder, Tuesday, September 16th at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's when we're going to do it. 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll be hosting an IG Live. So we'd love for you to join us for that great conversation and any questions that you may have. I know it's been a lot of information over the last several weeks. Towards the end of this video series, we are here for you. But we aren't done just yet. We're hopeful to connect some dots for you now on this final episode as we take you inside this important conversation revolving around the capital campaign that began in 2024 to help fund a brand new facility for the YWCA in Van Wert, Ohio. Obviously, it's just a real talk, a real conversation about the YWCA's mission, impact, and its future. So back with us now, Kimberly Laudick and Julie Burenga to connect these dots. As I mentioned, the YWCA's mission, the impact of the programs and the services that we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, and just that urgent need for the new facility. So who would like to go first? Kim, Julie, why a new building?
I think the most important thing is that we're in a 110-year-old building. It's aging. It's run on a boiler system. The plumbing is in 6 inches of concrete. Anytime something goes wrong, the plumber hates to have our phone call. Our residents we're in a building that's only handicapped accessible to 2 stories, and it's a 3-story building. We're in a facility where residents who are survivors of a sexual trauma are sharing a bathroom with 10 to 15 other people. We're in a facility where we don't have air conditioning. In the summer, it's 95 degrees on the 3rd floor. In the winter, on the boiler system, it's 95 degrees on the 3rd floor. We're in a facility where there's mold issues in the basement. We're in a facility where we don't have room because we have made as much space as possible into rooms for survivors to have our youth programming on site. So there's just a lot of limitations. And we really believe that there's so much more we can do with new space, with safe space, to continue to grow, especially youth programming, and then just provide spaces that are more dignified for healing for the survivors.
Can you give us, maybe, Kimberly, take us inside a vision for what these spaces could and will obviously hopefully look like?
Yeah, absolutely. As Julie mentioned, as a shared bathroom, I always tell people, like, our current building, think of a dorm. Like, if you went to college or I've ever seen that, it's a very dorm style, which works right for 18, 19, 20-year-olds because they're college kids. But again, it doesn't always work for those experiencing that trauma and trying to figure out stability in their life. So what the new building is going to entail when it comes to rooms, there'll be studio style rooms. We're doing one studio rooms and then some 2 studios, because we do see many children come to our building, if their mother, or could be a dad as well, which we have seen have been victims. So to be able to provide that space. So a lot of times right now they're sharing basically a one studio style room. All of the new facility will have their own bathrooms, which I'm just more excited about for those residents. Again, knowing if they have dealt with some type of sexual trauma, having that space in itself, right? Like, we all need a little bit of our own personal space, especially when it comes to, a bathroom situation. So they will have their own bathroom, and then also they will have their own kitchenette space, which is huge as well. Right now, they share a kitchen. Sometimes we are limited, again, being a 110-year-old building, electricity, probably shouldn't say this on air, isn't always up to code of what that looks like. So, we can only have so many refrigerators in there. So sometimes some of those are 5 to 6 rooms that are sharing one refrigerator. So then you're dealing with food insecurities, right? So they're already dealing with all of this trauma and healing from there on top of their food insecurities. So they will have their own kitchenette space, so they won't have to worry about that. And then in the two bedrooms, right, mom can go off and have a, maybe they want to just read a book, maybe they just want to meditate, whatever that looks like. They'll have their own bedroom, and then the kids will have some bunk beds and stuff like that. They'll have their own space, and then a little bit of like a living room area, because again, some of these rooms are not even big enough to have that. So they're sharing a living space up there that we've kind of created. And then going back to the fact of air. I mean, air conditioning. It's hot in this building. I'm currently sitting in a room that is fortunate to have a little bit of an air unit, so it's nice, but it's hot. So, just that in itself, to be able to be comfortable, is really key. So that's what those living spaces will look like. It will also bring, we'll have some therapy rooms, because we do work with outside sources that offer mental health, addiction services. So they'll be able to come in and have that private space to help them work one-on-one or group therapy with the residents on that. We'll have bigger laundry rooms, because the amount of washers and dryers that we replace in a year is really crazy. And then have a little bit bigger kitchen area, so then we can do classes of cooking classes and stuff like that. Or if they want to cook a bigger meal, it allows them to have that space as well. So that's kind of what that's going to look like, as far as what our current space looks like to what the new space will look like for resident wise. We're just really excited to offer that up.
Just understanding that it's a place for healing, as you're kind of touching on growth,
Yeah.
and that empowerment that's built on, as I was kind of reading through things, just that safety and the
Yeah.
dignity that every individual deserves, obviously. So I've been mentioning it throughout this entire series, it's a capital campaign that began in 2024.
Yeah.
Where are we right now in terms of the progress that's been made?
The total amount needed for the capital campaign is approximately 12 to 13 million dollars. We are planning to raise half of that from our community, private donors, private foundations, individuals that we meet with or that we might reach through this series of videos, hopefully. The other half of that, then, we're working with consultants who are helping us with a capital stack. So far on the individual side, our goal to raise $6 to $7 million in total on the individual side, we are halfway there. So we're a year in to a 2-year campaign, and we're about halfway there. We've raised $3 million. And so we feel like we're in good shape, but we're still looking for donors. We have naming right opportunities that are available, and we still have the ability to put someone's family name on a couple of wings. So a person could have their family name on the Survivor Services wing or on the Youth Development wing. So there's some opportunities to be involved in big naming rights, as well as some opportunities to be a part of it on a smaller basis, where a donor wall, or maybe put your name on a room. But really, everyone can be involved in this campaign. We're looking for big donors, and we want the support of everyone in our community. This is a something that's good for all people in our community, because if we raise the situation of the lowest member of our society, the children, we're only going to raise the situation for everyone in our community. So we hope everyone will be involved in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I would add, Allie, again, on the private level, we work a lot with our consultants, as Julie said. And then on the state side is actually really a heavy load is on that side. We're constantly meeting with our representatives, senators, to get their support. We know there's a state budget that comes out, and we want to talk to our representatives and senators. So when they are looking at funds that can be given back to their district, like, this is something that they can buy into, because it's helping so many. It's not limiting to a particular population. There's so many that it's helping. So I get the joy of heading down to our state capital. I've been to DC and just really, advocating for what we're doing here in Van Wert County. There are nationwide YWCAs. Our numbers has dwindled, but we are doing that work at the state, at the national level of so many YWCAs. To know that we are doing this work in little rural Van Wert, Ohio is huge, and we're continuing to grow that. We are doing a lot of a heavy lift as well. We want people to understand that, yeah, we're going to come and ask you for some money, give us money, but we're holding our end of the bargain up too, and we're trying to do what we can as far as grants and all of that on that state and federal dollar and getting that support and new market tax credits and all of that to continue to support this new facility.
Well, as we have done each episode, obviously the YWCA's webpage is listed right here, as well as to listen to these conversations over the last several weeks in their entirety. You can go over to the YWCA's YouTube page to collect more information that you would like to receive. But the work is there. I think it's very apparent as we're here in episode 4. The work is there, the love is there, and the need, obviously, to help fund this new project, this project capital campaign to bring a new YWCA to Van Wert, Ohio. I will reiterate it and I'll say it over and over again. I'm honored to be here to lead this conversation and to have been able to do so. Very, very just a small part and glimpse into a place that is very special and near and dear to my heart, my hometown. So to Kim and Julie, thank you so much for even trusting me to be here and sitting and listening in on these conversations. I do want to encourage and urge you again a week from today. So it'll be September 16th, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to do a IG Live. So I urge you to join in. It'll be very laid back, casual. Any questions that you may have, we would love to answer them and sit and join with you as this push on this project continues. Again, it's been a real talk about the YWCA's mission, impact, and future. Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you next week.